Hey, good morning, everybody. Today is December 5th, 2025, and this is an exciting day for me. I'm actually recording and releasing this episode of the People of Packaging podcast on the same day. I don't do that all that often. Um, but I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk through my book that I just released today. It's called Sales Exegesis: A Pastor's Journey into Packaging Sales. And I wanted to take a little bit of a longer format audio video situation to discuss the process that I went through in writing the book, and maybe if you decide to purchase it, you'll appreciate or not appreciate, I don't know, the process that I've gone through. And I detail a little bit of the story in the book, so I'm not going to just read through the book, but it's only, oh, I didn't even look at that. I don't even know if the pages were all marked, but it's only about 100 pages long. It's not a very thick book, as you can tell. Um, and here's what I decided. So I started writing about this process of exegesis, and I've spoken at a few conferences, and essentially what it is it's the process that I use to prepare a sermon. And I began to realize that same process was incredibly valuable when it came to sales and marketing, and then sustainability, and then even like parenting and political opinions. I was just like, I kept coming back to this process of exegesis. And so while I could have tried to write a book encompassing all of that, that seemed like a bad idea. So I focused in my thoughts on sales. But as you begin to think about what this is, it it will hopefully help you out in other areas of life. And so essentially what I detail in the book is this idea that we should start to form our opinions, our sales strategy, our sustainability initiatives, our parenting decisions, all of it, form it from a position of a foundation of observable objective truths. And I know that in a postmodern age, that can be a little bit funky, but it's really not. I don't mean, what is the truth of how the world came to, whatever that might, obviously I have my own views on that, but I'm not talking about these metaphysical truths. I'm talking about something like, I can observe that Adam Peak is wearing a Label King hoodie. No, we cannot debate that, right? So then you would maybe have an interpretive question. Why is he wearing a Label King hoodie when he's talking about this? That would be an interpretive question. So you observe, you interpret, you go search, you get the answer. Adam started a company called Label King. Maybe he's trying to promote Label King. Maybe he just is wearing the hoodie. But you could say Adam is the Label King of the mountain according to LinkedIn. That is now the answer. And then you could correlate that data. And let's say you were trying to reach out to me to make a sale, like some people have done. They say, oh, he also has Label King rubber ducks. And I had somebody bring me a rubber duck. That was cool, right? That started from a position of truth, and then it was authentic and real. That's the general idea here is sales. So much of sales, not all, but so much of sales is predicated upon lies, right? You have to lie to yourself, then you lie to no. Tell the truth to yourself and then observe truth about the customer or the prospect. That's the foundation of the book. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Like I said, I do encourage you. I would love for you to pick it up and read it. It would mean the world to me. It's just $10. I didn't want to do a hard copy. It's, I think, $5 on Kindle, or it's free to people who already have some sort of Kindle subscription. But the process of writing this, on the back of it, I do talk about how the words and the thoughts are mine, but I leveraged the help of like an AI ghostwriter that I trained. I trained on my voice, on my content, some newsletters that I'd written about this process. So I had all this stuff that was out there. But what I was missing was the structure of the book. Now, I'm not a great writer. I'm getting better, but I'm not very good. And I certainly can't, I don't have the time to just sit down and type out every single word. Some people do, and I applaud you for that. I did not. But I am a verbal processor. So when I'm preparing a sermon, after I've gone through all of my research, I will practice it. I will record it. I will listen to it. I will refine it. I practice it in the car out loud. I probably look like a weirdo, just, like speaking. And if you're just listening to this podcast, I was making gestures of speaking and giving a sermon. But that's how I process. And so what I did is I have about a 20 to 30-minute drive into the Label King facility every morning and then back every afternoon. And so my thought was, well, if I can record voice memos of my thoughts, the organization of the book, the stories I want to tell, the chapters, and I can pull all of this together, I can have the foundation for the book. And then I can go back in and edit things myself and retype stuff that doesn't sound like me and all that kind of stuff. So I took all this content that I've had throughout years. I mean, I'm talking, what is it now? 2025. So 14 years of content on LinkedIn. I had a few articles about this process of observation, interpretation, correlation, and application. I'd written about this. I had spoken about this. I had recorded my talks. And then I just pulled it all together. I went through, I spent a few months editing and kind of tweaking some things. And when I had some time, I printed out some copies like this. This says not for resale. You can even tell this part right here that I put on the front, I ended up taking off of the front because it's already a really crazy, weird cover. By the way, this is Vanilla Ice. That was for eisegesis, as you see in the book. And this is DMX. That was for exegesis. X was a good rapper. Vanilla Ice was a bad rapper. If you pick up the book, you'll understand the reference. But I ordered some copies. I went through, I read the physical copy and made some more changes to the physical copy. That was the process that I went through to write this book. And I don't know how many authors are just upfront about it. There's been ghostwriters for decades, and people with full-time jobs, ghostwriting songs, ghostwriting books. I've had so many companies reach out to me and say, hey, for 10 or 15 or $20,000, you don't even have to do anything. We're just write it for you. Just give us the content. Then you can, and I'm like, well, if for 20 grand, I already had all the content out there and I had an ability to train somebody to already do this and to help me formulate my thoughts. And I did it. And this is the product of all of that time. This is not just a product of a few months of work. This is a product of going to seminary, of failing. I have stories of my failures in this book. It's a product of years and years of fine tuning a process that is not. This isn't like a sales training book per se. Do you know, like, you can utilize these concepts across all of the different, whether it's gap sales or Sandler or Challenger or whatever, Medic or whatever your company has. You can actually take this and say, okay, that's great. If it, by the way, if you have a sales training and that begins with a lie, run away from that as soon as you can. And as far as I know, the ones that I mentioned do not begin with lies, right? As far as I know, maybe you have a trainer that does. I don't know, but if you have that, just run away from that particular sales methodology or that sales training. But as long as you have one that is encouraging you, the Sales Rebellion, for example, that's encouraging you to be honest, to be creative, to be empathetic, to solve other people's problems. This will fit in perfectly with that. This is not a replacement of any of those particular things. So, what are my goals with this? I wanted to write a book. That was my biggest goal. I wanted to write a book. I wanted it to be authentic to me and my journey. And I get asked to speak a fair amount, and I wanted to have something more tangible to share and speak about. And this gave me tangibility to speak about and credibility, right? Tangible, credible things to speak about. And so there's so many packaging companies out there and printing companies out there. It doesn't just have to be that. That's just the industry I'm in. And we don't have a whole lot of people who are writing books about being in packaging sales. Fair? So if you're a packaging company and you have a sales kickoff event, you have sales meetings, this is something that now is tangible, and you can bring me in to speak and share and train on and go through workshops and do different things like that. Before it was just sort of, hey, the social media guy is going to come and he's going to talk about whatever the topic is. And that was fine, but to me, this is my story. I'm going to get into the hymn. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, right? Like this is what I've been through. And I think it's useful not just for, former pastors and Christian people. It is a useful ideology for everybody, And I walk through that. I've implemented this in a few different locations. I continue to implement this here at Label King as we're building this company. And so that was the story, is my journey into packaging sales and what I've learned and the lessons along the way. And this podcast is a snippet of my journey in creating a book that you should buy. Give it away buy it for corporate gifts at the end of the year. Buy it for your sales team. Buy it for yourself. It doesn't matter to me what you want to do with it. I tried to make it reasonably cost effective for people. I don't think $10 is too much. It was recommended that I charge more, and I said, no, thank you. So maybe I'm just devaluing it, or maybe I'm overvaluing it. I'm not exactly sure. The market will decide, and that will be what is objectively true. And that is how we're going to end, because that is where we started. Thank you, everybody. Please, please, please go on to Amazon.com. It's through Kindle Direct Publishing. It's got Prime 2-day shipping. You order it, they print the book and ship it within 2 days. It's called Sales Exegesis, A Pastor's Journey into Packaging Sales. Please go check it out. You're going to hear a lot. If you listen to this podcast, I got a short little ad that'll be playing to help promote the book. It would mean the world to me if you would buy it, if you would review it, and help other people learn from my learnings and my failures and my successes. So thanks, everyone. Go check it out. Sales Exegesis, Exegesis, is available now on Amazon.